Hey everybody, this week we are looking at new City Catechism question number 15. Since nobody can keep the law, what is its purpose? So if you remember last week, we asked the question, can anybody keep the law? We've been spending a lot of time looking at the law of God, what God requires of us. Last week we asked, can anybody do that? And the answer was no. It's beyond our ability. None of us are able to live up to God's standard. Okay, so then why on earth would God even tell us that standard if he knows we can't possibly live up to it? That's this week's question, and here's the answer. That we may know the holy nature and will of God, and the sinful nature and disobedience of our own hearts, and thus our need for a Savior. The law also teaches and exhorts us to live a life worthy of our Savior. Now, this may sound familiar if you've been following along for the past few weeks, because this has kind of come up throughout this whole section on the law. What is the purpose of the law? And this answer really breaks it down. It's pretty simple, but we'll look at it really quick. 3 parts. First, it tells us about God. It lets us know who God is and what he is like. It shows us his heart and his will and his holiness and his goodness. It tells us things about him. But then the flip side of that is we see, as holy and good as God is, we aren't, and we can't possibly live up to his standards. So it does show us how impossibly short we fall, not just to make us feel bad, like, oh man, I'm not that great, but so that we understand we need a Savior. We can't do this on our own. We need someone to do it for us. We need someone to rescue us from our sin, because in light of God's law, we stand guilty, we stand condemned. And then third and finally, it says that the law teaches and exhorts us to live a life worthy of our Savior. So once we know that we've been saved, we're thinking, okay, thanks, Jesus, I really appreciate that, and because I'm so grateful for that, I'd sure like to live in a way that pleases you. You know, I'd like to honor you and make you happy and do what you want me to do. How do I know how to do that? Well, then we go back to the law. And through what we learn in the law and what we learn of God's heart in the law, we can understand how to live in a manner that's worthy of our Savior. Not worthy in the sense of like we earn salvation, because we can't, but in a sense that like this is the kind of life that he deserves. This is the kind of response that his grace and mercy to us is owed. So that's the purpose of the law. No, we can't keep the law. We can't live up to it, but it reveals God's nature and will to us. It shows us our own sinfulness and our need of a Savior, and it helps us know how to live in a way that pleases God. Pretty straightforward, but it's a really important piece of the puzzle as we think about how the whole Bible works and why the whole Bible has been given to us. And just keep all those things in mind as we continue. Leave any questions or comments or anything else in the comments below, and I'll see you next time. Bye.